He is such sorrow. I've come to get my bus, to get me to Wareham, because this is only a heritage line now. It used to come, mainline trains used to come all the way down here until about, I think it was about 1972. We'll show you the little station, it's adorable. Proper old-fashioned station. But yeah, sorry, keeping half an eye on my bag. Mainline trains no longer come here, but steam trains do. Hang on, I'm just going to keep walking backwards. Just going to get my backpack bag. Hold on. Oh, sorry, wobble, wobble, wobble. Let me give you a closer look. Beautiful sight. Oh, I love all that. The only problem, of course, is it all requires coal. There she blows. Magnificent beach. Oh, this is hard. It's so hard to leave all this loveliness. But leave I must. Oh, that sound! I love it! I love what you do. It's that kind of guttural. Gorgeousness. Absolute gorgeousness. Of course, if I lived here, I could come and I was going to say play trains every day. I could at least come and look. No, I'm not in prison. I've taken my bus ride from Swanage up to Wareham. That's the level crossing, that's the train lines. I just need to cross there to get to the other platform. There are steps. There are steps up and over. I don't want to do the steps. I want to do the level crossing. So I'm just being held here. This is how it works these days. Once upon a time, these gates across here didn't exist. You were just advised to look both ways. But now there's a system where it's all automated. The gates shut whilst the train comes through. And you know what, even when the gates are open and it's clear to cross, I still look both ways. There we go. That's the Weymouth train. So if I was staying around a bit longer and fancied it, I could hop on this train, I could go to Dorset, carry on right down to Weymouth. But that's not what I'm up to today. Oh, I'm back to London. Right, come on. Open. Open says me. Please. Oh, and the other thing, little hint and tip. When you're crossing over a level crossing, pick up your bag and watch where you're putting the end of your stick. Because what you don't want to do is get yourself caught in the tracks. Yikes! It's a sweet little station. Little country town station. When there's no one around, when there's not a train due, it looks very quiet and backwater, doesn't it? But the reason I'm mentioning this today, or right now, is because this is another of my provisos for moving, for when I move. It's not about being able to get back to London. Hang on, just wait till this lady comes through. That lady was looking for the loo. I've already used it. Yeah, no, the thing about mentioning about the train station is, and it's not about getting backwards and forwards to London, if I was to live down here, but it's wherever I move, again, it comes down to this thing of I don't drive. So, and I mentioned in that Cheap and Cheerful Day Trips Holidays video, actually, let's start walking up the platform, just backing up to get the old case and stick. Yeah, I don't like coaches, don't like travelling by coach. It makes me a bit travel sick and I find it a bit cramped. So I do all my travel by train. And besides, I love trains. I absolutely blimmin' love travelling by train. So, yeah, wherever I move to, I do need an accessible train station that's on the main line. That way goes to Weymouth, Dorchester, etc. I'm coming here for the up line to London. So not only am I looking for a train station, but it has to be one that if I don't live in the same town, so for instance if I was to move to Swanage, I don't live in Wareham, is there a good reliable bus service to get me here? Now, the thing about country buses, yeah, they're few and far between. So for instance today the bus I've taken got me here with nearly 50 minutes to spare, 50. But you know what? I'd rather have 50 minutes to spare than be 50 seconds late. So, little breeze. I'm going to sit in one of the cubbies. I'm going to park my backside. Having been to the loo and done all that bits and bobs, I've now got, just 30 minutes to wait. So I shall get my book out. That's another must-have, isn't it? When you're on the move, a book and a bottle of water. So I'm going to sit myself in this corner, out with the breeze, and wait. Actually, because I've got a bit of a wait, I thought I'll kill two birds with one stone and catch you up on some of the other stuff in terms of my findings, in terms of moving. So I was just mentioning the buses and having a reliable bus service to get to the train station. Of course, the big thing down here is, sorry to dab my nose, one of the main things is that they are far less frequent. By now you'll have seen a photograph on Facebook that I put on Facebook of when I first arrived, the bus stop, and it said the next 3 buses, and it's sort of like 22 minutes, 46 minutes or something, and then 76 minutes. So yeah, everywhere I've wanted to go or come back from, there's only 1 bus an hour. But that's okay, as long as you know the time. And if you're starting where the bus starts, so for instance Swanage, you know, okay, if it says 12 o'clock, it's going to be 12 o'clock. So on some of the country stops, when I was coming back from Studland and then coming back from that top section of Swanage near where my grandparents were, the bus stop will say at 43 minutes. past the hour. So you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to get here at 35 minutes past the hour, just in case it's a bit early. But actually I found them all to be absolutely pretty much to the minute. So I haven't missed any buses. So that's a big consideration. And as I was saying in that other video, I will definitely, when I get back to London, I'm going to be looking into seeing if I can get some sort of mobility bus pass. Because if I can get it in London, surely that would qualify me for getting one down here. And that would make a huge difference in the decision-making process. Because honestly, £7.50 to get up to Wareham from Swanage one way, I ain't doing that. Anyway, oh gosh, yes, it's weird. I mean, I do feel a bit, I feel a bit teary sitting here today because once again I'm leaving Dorset, and I always feel a bit teary when I'm leaving. And you know, recently in a previous video I was saying how every time I arrive, literally the minute I step off the train, I pretty much burst into tears. There's just something about arriving of feeling, it's really hard to express, but just feeling okay, just feeling safe. I can let things go, and they tend to come out as tears. Likewise, in reverse, going back to London, you know, I'm ready to go back to London, ready to go home to my flat, but it's with such a heavy heart. And I think that says a lot. I haven't worked out yet whether that means yes, I'm meant to be here, or whether it just means I'm sad to be going and I can't wait to come back for the next time. Anyway, so yeah, house hunting. I didn't actually in the end get to, I didn't go and look at any properties because I know that I'm not ready to move yet. I need to get things sorted in London. I'm still waiting on that flaming lease. It's, what year are we in? So the process started at the end of 2020. All the paperwork was submitted, all the bills paid, thousands of pounds paid to solicitors, land registry, in the beginning of the summer of 2021. Anyway, so yeah, so I didn't go and look at any properties specifically, but what I did do was think about, make a note, mental note of specific roads, specific parts of the town that I thought, yeah, this is accessible in terms of being on the flat. It's near enough to shops and all those things that I use. So that's stashed in my mind. Likewise, coming through my grandparents' village, because I always thought that would be a possibility as well, but it's kind of shocking, maybe it's not shocking, to note coming through this time that every single shop has now shut in my grandparents' old village. The village stores are now held out of the pub. I believe that over half the village is now second homes. That's too sad. Oh, we might get a bit noisy. So yeah, so that's definitely off the cards. As you know, somewhere to live. It's just not feasible. It's just like midnight, you need a pint of milk. Talking of midnight, needing a pint of milk. I don't drink milk, so I don't need a pint, and I wouldn't need one at midnight. So down in Swanage, there are two good supermarkets, medium size. There's a Co-op and a Budgeons. I've never used a Budgeons before. The lady in there, she was lovely. So I went into Budgeons to do my weekly shop. It wasn't quite a week's worth of shopping, but you know what I mean. It's been a very, very low spend break, very low spend. I've had a couple of pints, I've had a bag of chips, I've had an ice cream, and I've had a cream tea, but otherwise I've catered for myself. So two, decent sized shops, and they are both open until 10 at night, Monday through to Saturday. They're open on Sundays, but they close a bit earlier. So that would be something else to get used to, not having 24-hour shops. So used to that. So something I didn't do the nighttime walking test, as in if I'm coming back from somewhere at 11 at night, or coming home from a pub. I don't really go to the pub anymore. But if I was coming back from somewhere late at night, what does it feel like to walk at night time? That's a test I would want to do. They have the library, yay! There's a bookshop, yay! The charity shops, yeah. And I was saying about the post office, the big post office had shut. There is a small post office, but at the back of the old post office, that's still the collection office. So, you know, there's times when they say, we called and you weren't in, you know, the red card. Liar, I was in. So if I did miss a delivery, it's right there. The collection office is right there. So where I am in London now, my collection office shut, and I now have to get on a bus and go a couple of miles to go and collect any parcels. So that's good. There's a sea swimming club. I think they're too advanced for me though. They're like, oh, we're going to do a 4K swim this Sunday, come and join us. But, you know, having been in the water that day, and I mean, just Studland is so lovely. So on the bus, it's really easy to get to. It's a little bit of a walk to the beach, that's okay. But it's such a quiet and private beach. I would be more than happy to bathe there every single day and not worry about other people. So yeah, there's a sea swimming club. Who knows? Maybe I'll get stronger. Keep an eye. Oh, I can't see a clock. So keep an eye on the time. Yes, there's 2 health food shops. Great. So in terms of getting things like my vegetarian stock, or my yeast flakes, or just like, you know, beans and pulses, that sort of thing. Brilliant. Oh, the pint, by the way. A pint costs the same down here as London. But I hardly do that these days. Remember I was mentioning about me and Grandma in the bank and the lifeboat got called out. Hang on a sec. That lady just wanted to know which way the trains go. Banks, yes. So remember I was saying about when I was in the bank with my nan and the guy scarpered because he's lifeboat crew. So that bank used to be on the corner, very near Budgeon's. It was a Midland bank. And of course it's gone. All our high street banks are going, aren't they? It's now an estate agent, I think. But there is a branch of a building society that's there nationwide. And I think Nationwide are one of those who've sort of said publicly they've committed to the idea, or they've said that they're going to keep branches open. I know that's a little thing, but, you know, for me, face-to-face interaction is so important. It's part of who I am. I like people, I like doing my business face-to-face, and then also if I've got a problem, it's so much better to discuss a problem face-to-face than over the phone and you don't know who you're dealing with. So that pleased me. I was initially like, oh no, the bank's gone. Oh yay, there's a building society. I'm not a member of that building society, so I'd change. In exactly the same way as in on my high street where I am now, I've changed banks. I've still got my very, very original bank account from when I got my first student bank with NatWest, I think because they gave me a free young person's rail card. But all the other banks I've had subsequently, I've closed and swapped as each bank has shut. It's crazy. Where did I get to? Oh yeah. Oh, and that thing, I was making a note that there's no 24-hour shops. And I popped into the newsagent and I was chatting with the guy then. I said, what time do you open and close? He said, oh, we open at 5 and we close at 5 a.m. And it did occur to me, I've talked about this so much over the years, how I am not a lark, I'm an owl. I'm very much an evening/nighttime person. But I was thinking maybe a life down here would initially force the change, and then I'd adapt to it, of having a more morning life, you know, a morning swim, doing my shopping at 6 a.m. when the shops open rather than at 4 a.m. as the shops are closing. Yeah, they're just, you know, it's small differences, isn't it, between, I mean, Swanage is a town, it's not a village, let's face it, but it's that, the difference of city life versus town life, where the buses are less frequent, the shops shut earlier, some of them have half-day closing, but I kind of like all those differences too. Those differences remind you that, yeah, you are somewhere different. The difference is because it's different. Yeah, so I don't mind any of those things, like the closing times and the infrequency of the buses. But the main thing for me was, it's about the things like the shops, the post office. Oh, and the health food. So post office, health food shops, bookshop, and there's a wool/craft shop. Now, I don't knit, I don't need the wool shop, so I just popped into, I mean, I've been in there like a gazillion times over the years, both with my mum, who's a big knitter, and my grandma, going and picking up bits and bobs for her. But I just wanted to pop in and remind myself. So they've got all sorts of paints. If you're doing your watercolouring or whatever, maybe I'll get back into painting. But the main thing I was pleased to see, a haberdashery section. So if I, you know, need a new sewing machine needle, if I need a roll of thread, rather than having it sent via the internet, which I could do, again, it's back to that thing of having person-to-person shopping experiences. So I was delighted by that. And they have a sewing machine service and repair service. Couldn't think of the words, service and service. Yeah, so they service and repair sewing machines. That's really important. So yeah, it's sort of like, you know, lots of boxes ticked. A little bit further out from where I was staying, there's a builder's merchant. So for all your DIYing stuff, you know, paint and timber and screws and nails and all those bits one might need. What else? No, I think that'll do for now. So yeah, it's been a very good. Obviously, I was here primarily because of my sis, but the reason I added a bit of my own money so I could stay a bit longer was specifically this whole kind of just recceing and feeling, what's it like to go shopping here? What's it like to sort of live here? And it's not about sort of being out and about all day and then in the evening going out to eat and having that sort of, you know, because that's not realistic for me. So I was out and about in the day, and then I would come home and I'd cook and I'd eat and I'd stay in for the evening mostly. I went out one evening about 8 o'clock or so. I can't remember which day it was, and it doesn't matter, but yeah, I popped out, just went and breathed a bit more sea air, and then went to one of the pubs where there's a view of the beach, had a pint. That was nice. Yeah, it's been a very good expedition, and I think so. Now back to reality. I don't want to go home. I mean, I do. I'm going to get all tearful again. I don't want to leave. I love it. And the bus ride today, coming through the countryside, it's so achingly gorgeous here. Oh, and that's another thing with the buses. At the height of season, so from sort of about May right through to the end of September, sometime end of August, there are buses to all sorts of other places, not on the normal routes. There are places to the nature reserves, to Kimmeridge, Lulworth, to Durdle Door. So there's lots of out and about possibility. I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's it. So yeah, back to reality, back to London, back to reality, back to work. God, the garden needs so much attention. I had a message from Catherine while I was away that some of my tomato plants have been flattened. And I texted back to say, oh, look, don't worry about it. I'll sort them out on Tuesday or Wednesday when I'm back. She said, too late, I've sorted them out. And then I think I need to do a chunk of time in the garden, end of September, beginning of October, and then sort of from about mid-October right through to sort of February, March next year. 2 focuses. One, sewing, needle and thread sewing, so get the lavender process, get the lavender bags made, try to get some bunting made for next summer. But the other big thing is to just just get the flat sorted, finish these blasted jobs, taps for the bath, the bathroom window needs refrosting, all these myriad little annoying jobs. So yeah, that's what's going to be occurring sort of like October through till March. I think I need to get ready for the train, so I will catch up with you all later. I say cheerio for now, but the station's getting busy and I'm getting shy. See you later. Hello lovelies. Well, I'm back in London, obviously. A bit of a tickle. It's actually the morning after yesterday, or at least, you know, when I was on the train, because I got home and it was sort of straight into work. I got home about 5:30, onto the computer. I'd done all my editing and bits whilst I was in Dorset, so that first video went live at 6 o'clock, and then I spent the evening doing all my socials and a couple of phone calls, a bit of catching up, things to attend to, and fell into bed at 11:30, wiped. I slept for 9 hours. Oh my goodness, I never sleep for 9 hours, or I haven't had I woke up once, I woke up at 3:30 to go to the bathroom, but otherwise, this series of videos has all been about me going to the bathroom, hasn't it? Anyway, the point is, I slept for ages. I was really tired, and I think that's inevitable, really, because of all the mixed emotions and being out and about a bit, you know, doing more walking than usual. I mean, I spent a lot of time just sitting staring at the sea. But yeah, just really pooped. And I think also that thing all the time in the back of my mind about, is this somewhere I can live? And it was really, my brain was like, all the time. Well, not all the time. A lot of the time it was, I'm not making sense, am I? Anyway, yeah, I didn't unpack yesterday. Dirty girl. Yeah, just fell straight into bed. So this morning I've unpacked, and, you know, it's the usual routine, isn't it? You come back from a little break and you do a load of laundry. My towel was in a had a bin liner, it's waterproof. My towel and cosy were still a little bit damp, and my towel smelled of the sea. I put it up to my face, sniffed it in, and it was, you know, it smelled of the beach. And there's one particular moment, it was when I was on Studland Beach. I was going to try and describe, I don't know if I can, but it's locked in here now. It's in that box for me to dip into every now and again. I've already dipped into it last night as I was going to sleep. It was my final image, and it was the quiet of the beach. It was after that couple had gone. I'd had a swim. I was just sat on the beach, sat cross-legged. I know it seems a bit bonkers, doesn't it, for someone with wonky knees, but it's actually the most comfortable of all positions that I can be in. It's not comfortable, but it's the least uncomfortable, let's say that. Just sat there cross-legged, obviously bare legs because I've got my cosy on. I was just leaning forward, just sort of drawing, with my finger drawing in the sand, a bit of a breeze. And my hair, sort of, because my hair was dangling down, sort of coming into my eye line, and the ends all blonde from the summer, and the smell, and just the sound of the waves lapping. And it was perfect. It was so perfect. I can't get that moment out of my mind. I don't want to get that moment out of my mind, but it brings me back to London, and now that thing of that whole thing of the wreckage. Oh, sorry, I mentioned yesterday that it had been a really, or it's in today's video, but for me it was yesterday. I mentioned the thing about it being a real low spend few days. Yes, travel and accommodation cost. Actually, the travel, I think I got my return ticket for about £28. So my train fare was 28. And then obviously the bus fares at the moment are capped at £2. So yeah, the Wareham to Swanage, that was £2 each way. Going over to Studland, I looked on my online banking, it was 10 pence. 10 pence. I'd do that all day long if it was only 10p. So yeah, it was the accommodation was the most expensive thing. Travel wasn't too bad. I spent about 20 quid. It's quite a lot for me on food to have at the flat. That did include a couple of bottles of beer. And then out and about, I spent £10.40 on 2 pints of beer. Can't remember how much my chips were. My cream tea was a gift from Penny. Thank you, lovely. I talked about cream teas earlier in the summer, and she wanted to send one to me in the post from... Oh, I'm going to get this so wrong now, Penny, aren't I? Are you in Devon? I bet she's in Cornwall. Sorry, Penny. But yeah, she'd wanted to send one in the post to me, but the company wouldn't deliver to a PO box, so she sent me the money instead. Thank you. That was lovely. So yeah, pint chips. I didn't. No. That was about it, really. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. The point is, putting aside my sister bits, because whatever happens in the future, live there or just visit there, I know where she is, and the way that worked out on the beach day in terms of scattering her ashes, honestly, it could not have been more perfect. It was so perfect, so beautiful. It's going to move me all over again. It was utterly perfect. And I absolutely know, especially when we got down to Swanage Beach and the surf was up, I know she would have utterly loved the beach that day. That would just be totally her kind of day. A bit wild, that wind kicking up the waves. Excuse me. So yeah, it was really, really lovely. But just sort of parking that for a moment, that whole thing about recceing it as somewhere to live. You know, all the time I was there, I was thinking, yeah, I could live here. Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it. Especially the proximity to Studland South Beach in particular. If I could work something out with the buses where it's not too expensive. Excuse me. It's a distance which will be cyclable. It's a little bit like that, but I suppose with an electric bike to help with that, it would be, yeah, that'd be doable. So it's completely doable. And I would love it. I would absolutely love living right next to the sea. The prospect of being able to swim whenever I want, without having to be organised, just literally walk to the beach and get in the water. That would be amazing. Oh, and really all the sort of facilities, the amenities I need are there. Brilliant. And then I get back to London and I can feel myself getting a bit scrunchy in the shoulders and a bit aggy, like on the tube and then on the train down to my local train, my train within London. I could definitely feel myself getting grumpy and aggy. But maybe that was just because I'm sad that my little trip was over. Or is it because I'm done with London? I don't know. I don't think I'm done with London. And then I think, oh, but I can't leave London. I love London. But then I think, well, hang on a minute, Vivi. You know, you don't... The one thing I always have done in London is walk for miles. I just walk about. I love it. The buildings, the architecture, the history, going into museums and galleries. I don't do any of that anymore because it hurts the old knee bones. So the long and the short is this. In terms of deciding about where to live and where to focus my house hunting, I've come to a conclusion. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so sorry if that was a tease. I didn't mean it as a tease. I honestly don't know what to do. And I know folk are going to say, Vivi, follow your heart. I am doing, and that's, I actually do that. You know, I know people think I'm an overthinker. I do think, I do reflect, I do use this a lot. But when it comes to big decisions like the house move, I am a person who follows my heart. But here's the issue. Half of my heart is in Dorset and half of my heart is in London. Which half do I follow? Yeah, I just don't know. And I think the only way I will know, look, I've got the whole winter and into next spring, get on with things in the flat, as I've mentioned before. And I think house hunting in earnest will start next spring, next summer. I don't know when exactly, but it'll be next year. And all I can do is to start really, really looking. At the moment, it's just been a casual little look online every now and again for Dorset, or if I'm walking past the estate, excuse me, past the estate agents on my high street, I have a quick look. But it's not been, haven't gone into an estate agent and said, right, this is what I need, give me a call the second you get something, you know, and call them every week and nag them, you need to find me a place. So when I do start in earnest next year, I'm going to just do both. I'm going to look at both, and wherever the right property is where I'll choose. I kind of want it to be in Dorset though. Maybe I am leaning that way more now. I don't know. And then the other thing to do, and I thought about this a lot while I was down there this time. And, I mean, I've not been back 24 hours yet. I've been back about I've been back 17 hours in London and haven't stopped thinking about it, is that, yeah, as we go into next spring, I don't know, maybe April, May, sometime, time around the school holidays, is I think I just need to go back down there and have another, like this time, another 3 or 4 days there. Specifically, they're about house hunting and swimming, where I'm not doing my sister stuff. I'm not filming necessarily. I might do if something pops up, but I'm go there with a more focused attitude of just go down there to do one job, rather than as I was this time, I was doing myriad different jobs, if that makes sense. I think that's a sensible plan. Yeah, I thought after this little trip I'd have a bit more clarity, and I don't. I absolutely do not have more clarity. Maybe I do, but I'm not seeing the clarity yet, if that makes sense. I don't make sense, do I? That moment on Studland Beach is almost haunting me. And maybe the future and my decision making is all wrapped up in that one perfect moment. We'll see. Anyway, sorry, excuse me. I feel like I've picked up a bit of a cough in the last few days. I was coughing on that first day I got to Swanage, wasn't I? But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me for all these videos. I really, really, really hope you've enjoyed them. I hope you've enjoyed seeing bits and bobs of Swanage. I know that loads of you have, well, actually, because I've been back now and I've been able to read comments and things, I know some of you have been down there at the same time as me, or some of you are about to go down there, some of you were there 2 weeks ago. It seems a popular place with us all, doesn't it? Because it's so gorgeous. But anyway, whether you know Swanage or don't, I hope you've enjoyed these few videos of my trip. I've certainly enjoyed making them and bringing them to you. And yeah, I can't wait to get back already, planning the next trip. Yay! Reality bites in the meantime. So what will we be doing next? Almost certainly it will be some time in the garden, time to clear up. Was I saying, now I can't remember now whether I was saying this yesterday or in another video. I was thinking about, you know, what comes next, as in real life again, this week, and I was thinking, Oh, there's so much tidying up to do in the garden. I've got to attend to the tomatoes, which I know got bashed down, and then Catherine's tried to fix them for me in my absence. And I was just thinking about the garden and all the work to do. My heart sank a bit. And I was thinking, oh, I'd rather be on the beach. See, maybe that is telling me something too. Yes, but anyway, I will see you again really soon, probably in the garden. So until then, please look after yourselves. And oh my goodness, if you can spend some time near water, whether it's the sea, a lake, a river, a stream, whatever it is, if you can spend some time near water, grab that opportunity, because boy, oh boy, it's so good for our souls, isn't it? Taxi for Vivi, taxi for Swanage, come on. All right, lovelies, until the next one, cheerio.